Today on Nate's Chop Shop, we're going to repair and reinforce the frame on the Dingo.
What are you doing?
Okay, so in the last video, you saw me evaluate this thing, and it's got some cracks, some things messed up on it, and I'm going to go ahead and re-weld those. I already got my welder set up, and I'm going to reinforce them. I'm going to come in with some plate steel on the bottom and add some reinforcements that they didn't have from the factory that should help prevent that from happening again. I'm also going to cut the motor mount off and raise it up and possibly back. I just want to make sure I have full adjustment. The reason I'm doing that is because we're not using the original jack shaft torque converter plate. I got a torque converter that goes on the motor now, and I want to make sure that it clears through the whole range of travel. And I'm thinking what I'm going to do at the same time is tilt this plate up 10 to 15 degrees so that not only when I move it back, the sprocket gets further away on one plane, but it goes on another plane also. So every inch of adjustment will gain me more than an inch of distance away from the sprocket. It'll just give me a little bit more adjustment, and it don't hurt them. That's the way our race carts are. We run them like that, but let's get to it. Okay, so that's the top side of it. Got it all stitched together. I carried the welds out a little better, reflowed the factory welds. It's a nice thing about TIG welders, you can melt existing metal without just piling on top of it. So I was able to feel like a good enough job there. Now I'll flip it over and do the bottom sides, and then I can start making plates to reinforce the steering post here. Well, I've hit a small snag. As you can see, right in here, I'm wanting to weld this as far as I can. And the floor pan is in the way. Well, the floor pan's dented. It's got some holes in it. They're little, but you know, they're enough. I want to replace that anyway. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is go ahead and cut the floor pan out. And then that way I can get in here to weld this the way I want. And I'll build plates that go here to just tie all this together. Okay, so we got her welded up, both sides. You can see this side's a little bit closer than this side, so I was able to stretch a little bit more weld in there. And I was planning on building a plate to go here. But after looking at it a little bit more, I've realized that's got one weld on the bottom here and one weld on the top here. So I think what I'm actually going to do is just sew these together, top and bottom. And I think that should be plenty strong, because I'm also going to put a different cage on this than what was originally on it. So I think between the cage and what I'm doing there, it should be plenty strong, and if push comes to shove on down the road, I can always add a plate here. Okay, we got those all sewed together. I can get over here. So they're welded like that, top and bottom. So that should add a whole lot of strength, and having welded those top and bottom, I think it should be fine, especially with the cage I'm putting on this thing, which you guys will see soon enough. So now I'm gonna cut this engine plate off. I'm gonna start figuring out where that needs to sit. So the way I'm gonna raise the motor mount up is I've got this piece of flat bar here, the same thickness as my motor mount. And I'm just gonna weld it onto the bottom and just re-weld it into the frame like it was originally. Now, I kind of got ahead of myself. You can see that side's already welded, but this is a pretty good way of showing here what's going on, and that should give me enough room to work with, move it around, and put the angle in it that I want. I got the engine mount all extended, and I took my little angle finder here and I put it on the frame, and I realized it was about 14 degrees. So what I did is I put my motor plate at 0, and that should give me a 14-degree angle. Also, on the back side of it, I don't know if you can see it here, but I'm 0 and 0. So that's good and straight, and I'm going to tack weld it in a couple of places and then test fit the motor. After I get it fitting the way I want, I'm going to come in, I'm going to trim this excess off and go ahead and weld it down here also. I'll put probably 2 or 3 welds up here. To start with, I'm just going to tack weld it and make sure everything fits the way I want it to. Well, we had a little camera catastrophe there, but we're back on track. This seems like this is going to work out pretty good. I've got full range of motion, lots of clearance everywhere I'm going to need it, and it appears, if you look straight down through there, it don't look like I'm going to have any issues with the chain lining up. So now I'm going to go ahead and mock the axle up in it and make sure this sprocket lines up, which, judging by this piece and just kind of eyeballing it, it looks like it's going to. But I want to be sure before I final weld this. Got the axle mocked up in it, new bearings, and I think you guys can see this or not, but it looks like we're good to go. So that means I can tear it all down, finish welding this motor mount in, and that part is done. Okay, well, that was a lot of dang work. So, as a reward for myself, I'm gonna fire this thing up and listen to it. Now, I've heard this motor run. We had this little stock period motor on a race cart, and it ran strong. This is what's slated for this one. I'm building a new motor to put on that one. I'm probably going to upgrade it to a 28mm flat slide. But let's fire it up, listen to it. Probably take a second because I don't have any fuel in the system, but that's what starter boxes are for. sounds good. I think with the torque converter on it, this is my first experience with a torque converter. I've never had one. I'm going to change the springs and the weights in it to make it engage at a nice high RPM, because this little motor will spin a lot of RPM. And I want it to do wheelies. I mean, just all along the inside, that's what I want to do. I want to do wheelies. But I think that's a good way to do it. I think this motor should be a lot of fun on this thing. And stay tuned if you're interested in this. I think this should be great when it's done. I know it's a long process. There's a lot going on. I'm trying to do a nice job. But when it's done, we're going to stick a stamp on this sucker and send it. So it's going to be worth watching. So hang in there, or just tune in when the cotton picking thing gets to the point where we can actually ride it. But anyway, if you don't mind, you know, thumbs up, comment, like, subscribe, all that crap. You guys know the YouTube deal. But hey, thanks for watching.